Yeah, today we're going to be reacting to the new FNAF 2 teaser. Now this video is going to have a lot going on in it. So the first part will be me reacting to the teaser obviously. Then I'll break down the little teaser scene from scene and share my thoughts on it. Then I'll make a theoretical prediction about the film and then my overall thoughts. And then after the overall thoughts, I'm going to make a little sneaky prediction about Vanessa. I'm sorry that I'm posting this a bit late, but mostly because on Tuesday I popped my neck. Basically I've been in pain ever since, so I haven't been able to do a reaction. But let's finally react to it. So here we have the poster, and that's gonna be the mango. And you can hear William's voice. Oh my god. Oh, FazFest. I can't really see FazFest by the way. There's the location. The kid, do not go into that location, mate. Going to fix my friends. Oh, Abby, no. No. Vanessa's looking a bit. Oh, toy body. Vanessa.
Everywhere.
Is that a school? What is weird? Toy Chica's obsession in schools. Mango. Toy Freddy, Toy Bonnie. Oh my god. Everything's going so quick. Oh my god. That's McKenna Grace. She's in it, isn't she? Wow. Oh my god. Toy Freddy. Wow. Okay, wow. I'm so glad I decided to do an analysis because that went by so quickly. But yeah, let's get into the analysis of this teaser. So let's obviously start off with the voiceover, and it's obviously William Afton's voice. So it's probably from a flashback scene, which from other little snapshots from this trailer, it seems like we may be getting a few, which I'm so glad we're getting. I feel like the first film missed these types of scenes. I feel like a flashback scene to the 80s Freddy's and the MCI News Report would have been a positive addition and should never have been cut from the final film. So I'm glad to see that we're going down the route of flashbacks for this film. Next is the FazFest. Now this has been a thing since like Help Wanted 1, and I'm so glad that we're finally getting some insight to what FazFest is and getting some focus on it. It kind of reminds me of It Chapter 2. Now it does seem to be set in the modern day. That's the main conscious of this. But there's a few things that are making me think that some of these FazFest moments are actually from the past. Like this wheel is the old animatronics from the FiveNightsAtfreddys 1 location, whereas it seems as though the start of the show, the modern FazFest, is the toy animatronics. Also these two kids here, just an FYI, this might be a bit of a reach, but they look like the two victims we see in FiveNightsAtfreddys 1. The ginger kids with the foxy ears and the lads with the bunny ears on. Only reason why I'm saying this is because no one else in the scene seems to have these on their heads. It's just these two lads here. But obviously this is just a prediction based on what I can see from this teaser. Then we have our first look at the toy animatronics pizzeria, and it seems to be abandoned. So what era are the toy animatronics actually from? Because we've all assumed that FNAF 2 takes place in the modern day, which some scenes do. And we've also assumed that these toy animatronics come after these specific animatronics that we see in the FNAF 1 film. But if that's the case, it doesn't explain why their pizzeria is so run down and abandoned. Moving on to the next little scene, and it's this handwritten letter that we can assume is done by Abby, and it says, "Gone to fix my friends." Well, Abby's probably gone back to the FNAF 1 location, and this is where we could get our first look at the Withered. Could it be a similar situation to how in the Twister ones the OG animatronics help against the new ones? Could it be a little nod to these legendary videos? Now if you don't know what these videos are, it was basically our generation's version of Brain Rot. It was just MLG, Snoop Dogg and Thomas the Tank Engine. Don't ask how they all fit in. Basically the best way to describe these videos, it was like he just took a mushroom from Mario and ate it. But let's get back to FiveNightsAtfreddys. So in this scene here we've got Vanessa talking to Mike, trying to warn him about the new animatronics. However, in true Vanessa style, she is being very broad and very cryptic. I don't know, I feel like Vanessa is a Scott self-insip. Their communication skills are very cryptic and broad when it comes to FiveNightsAtfreddys. But seriously, it seems as though Mike has got himself a new job and has his life in order, whereas Vanessa on the other hand is the total opposite. She looks like Mike from the first film. I mean, I don't blame her. She's just been stabbed by her own father, probably lost her job and lost an inheritance when that building fell apart. Like, she's got nothing at this very moment, and for the first time in a long time she hasn't had a purpose. Like, her whole life was probably to be William's alibi. Now she's got to go and find a whole new purpose with the guilt of covering up a bunch of murders for about 15 years. Like, girl, I don't think therapy is going to cover this one. But moving on, we have our first look at Toy Bonnie. I just want to say these are perfect. These animatronics are perfect. Then the scene here, I want to say this is Henry, because what we've seen from William from this film, he likes to wear purple. Like, obviously, of course he wears purple, but this shirt here is blue and green. So hopefully this is the first look we've had at Henry. Isn't it just surreal to think that we might actually get Henry in this film? Like, I know it's like confirmed, but we've got to say might just in case. But like, I just can't wait to see him. I actually can't. Then in this scene we've got Toy Chica, and obviously she's in a school, because why wouldn't she be? She's got some weird obsession with schools. Like, get out. Then Mangle, and Mangle looks so good by the way, coming through that window. Poor Vanessa, poor Mike and poor Abby, they can't catch a break. But this time Vanessa isn't actually protected, because in the last film the souls sort of knew who she was and like didn't obviously attack her, but this time round, she's got no William Afton protection. She's got to fend for herself, and obviously there's someone else pulling the strings this time round, and I think we all know who. Again, these animatronics look amazing, and then we've got Toy Freddy, and he's got some random beef with a random family. Like, we do not know this family yet, and to us in this teaser, he's just decided to just break into someone's house, and, well, you know. And this here, right here, is the money shot. This is William Afton in the hallway, and we only see it for a split second, but oh my god, he's him. He is him. Like, he's just that character, isn't he? But it seems as though Vanessa is having an overdue meltdown and is probably haunted by what has actually happened, and this is just one of her hallucinations. Like, she's hallucinating William Afton. Like, the poor girl is obviously haunted by everything that's happened, and I don't blame her. And on the theme of William Afton, we've got the yellow rabbit's hand, and I hope this is a flashback to either the MCI or possibly the DCI. And then goes another child, and it seems as though he is in the location of Freddy's, but which one? I'm going to say obviously the FiveNightsAtfreddys 2 one, because that seems to be Mangle. And yeah, I feel like he's one of those kids that have like broke into the pizzeria and kind of paying for it now. And once again, this seems to be Mangle, and it seems to be the part where she gets ran over, and I really hope Vanessa is driving this car, because I feel like therapy is not going to cut it with her. I feel like she's going to need to, you know, run a few animatronics over to get over a few things. Then finally, we've got McKenna Grace, and I really want to make a Ghostbusters joke, but I just can't. But seriously, these scenes here feel like the Silver Eyes. Kids breaking into the old pizzeria, but unlike the Silver Eyes, it seems like it doesn't end well for them, and I can't wait to see it. Because in the first film, like, obviously we only see them interact with one child, and that's Abby, and it seems like they just wants to make her part of their happiest day, part of their little family, you know what I mean? They didn't know any better. They had a specific suit chosen out for her, that type thing. Whereas in these teaser films, it seems like these animatronics are just straight up killing these kids. Like, they do not care. It seems like they're motivated by something or someone else. But yeah, that was my quick little analysis of the teaser. Now let's move on to the theory I want to make. So basically, I feel as though these scenes here of FazFest are set in the past when Freddy's has a grand reopening, similar to FiveNightsAtfreddys 2. However, due to whatever stunt William pulls, it closes down, and then Henry disappears, and William opens up the FNAF location we see in the first film. But then these kids here in the present day disturb the toy animatronics by breaking into the abandoned pizzeria, basically reawakening them, which caused them to be out and about on the hunt for whoever, possibly Afton, but their security firmware is messed up, like how it is towards the end of FiveNightsAtfreddys 2.
Just as a side note though, try to avoid eye contact with any of the animatronics side if you can. Someone may have tampered with their facial recognition systems. We're not sure. But the characters have been acting very unusual,
causing them to attack a potential target, which could possibly be influenced by the marionette for whatever reason. And maybe the reason why these kids are breaking into this pizzeria specifically is because the fact that Afton's sort of curse and control over these animatronics has been lifted, and now the marionette has taken over, which is causing these children to be attracted to this pizzeria specifically. Then, in a separate storyline, Abby decides to go back to the FNAF 1 location, sees how badly damaged the animatronics are, tells Mike. Mike is like, nah, we ain't going back there. So Abby lets him know she's gone back to fix her friends. If it's anything like the Twister ones, the FNAF 1 animatronics may help against the toys. Obviously then Vanessa is going through her own things for the first time. She has to properly acknowledge her part in William's little shenanigans, and she's trying to live with the guilt, but the strong emotions surrounding it is causing Vanessa to hallucinate William, which is also causing her house to act sort of haunted, or something along them lines. Yeah, that's my little theory. Now for the marionette, I don't really have an answer to. Like, I've made a little theory on it, but I actually don't know what her role will be, which I'm excited about. But yeah, that's just my theory based on what we've seen in the teaser. But yeah, like I said, it is a teaser, and I think we are getting a full trailer in June, so that's exciting. So this was originally going to be a separate video, but I thought I'd do it in this video because it wouldn't be long enough and it just wouldn't be really worth it. But after 11 years, I can finally say I have officially completed the Funko FNAF Original 4 plushies, and it's been 11 years, because basically what happened was that when FNAF first came out, I was into it, and the only things that existed at the time were bootleg plushies. Sanshi hadn't released theirs, Funko hadn't released theirs, so when I got the plushies, they were all bootleg. And so when Sanshi and Funko released their plushies, it felt a bit pointless rebuying the plushies that I already technically had. So I never actually ended up buying any official Funko plushies except for the giant version of these two. So now I can say after 11 years, I finally got the set, and I'm absolutely made up. Now these are the re-releases for the 10th anniversary. Basically Smiths has just restocked them in the UK, and that's why I was able to get them, and I'm pretty sure these are tinier than the original ones. I cannot remember what the original ones look like or how big they were, but these feel they feel quite small, to be honest with you. But yeah, these are just re-releases for the 10th anniversary, and yeah, I can finally say I did not know Bonnie had a tail, but yeah, I finally got them and I'm absolutely made up, and yeah, I'm so glad they restocked them because it's been a long wait. It officially has been a long wait. But anyway, let's get back into the video. My overall thoughts on the teaser is that it seems as though they are leaning into a more violent film. They're pushing that PG-13 rating to its boundaries, which I can't wait to see because the little bit of violence that we saw in the first film was done really well. I also think by the end of maybe not this film but the film series, Vanessa will either die or she will become Vanny. I feel like what she's went through is a little too much to have a normal life afterwards, if you get what I mean. Like, she was on the other end. She contributed to William's deeds right through her life and into her adult life. There's so much guilt attached to it, and we kind of see that in the first film. Like, we can tell she's guilty and we can see that she is traumatized. However, she has to keep it together throughout the film because she is terrified of her dad. However, when she finally decides to confess to Mike and tell him the truth, she becomes a complete emotional wreck, and we can just see how much her father's actually completely destroyed her. Then what we've seen from Vanessa in this trailer, she clearly is not keeping it together. She looks absolutely destroyed once again. She is definitely not keeping it together, and that's why I feel like Vanessa will not get this happy ending. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on the FiveNightsAtfreddys 2 teaser, and I seriously can't wait for this film. They've done such a good job on the animatronics once again. Like, I need the 5th of December to come as quickly as I can. But yeah, thanks for watching, and let me know your predictions and what you think of this new teaser.